Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea. Got another week. I don't think I missed any so far this entire year. Feeling good for myself here. Got another live stream coming at you. We're going to start talking about what's going on in the market. And one of the things I promised, we're going to talk about the interest rates a little bit today and see what's going on and how that affects the housing market. So, without any further ado, go ahead and start looking at those numbers we always look at every week. So, again, I'm trying to want to show you this one. See, like, look, only 65 houses came on the market over the last 24 hours. Day 47 over the last 3 days, almost 500. But look at this, 7 days. So, in other words, a video I did a little bit ago, talking about the best time to list your house shows it right here. You're probably going to get the most money for your house if you list it on that Thursday or Friday. So let's go ahead and go into it. Let's take a look at the new listings. So 787 over the last 7 days. And let's go ahead and do what we normally do. Let's find out what is cheap. I'm sorry, less expensive. Okay, so right now in all of Southern Nevada, which actually that's Northern Nevada there. So let's see here. 16 Elm Drive, I think, is in North. Let's see where that's at. Yep, that's here in Vegas. Okay, so the cheapest thing in Las Vegas right now is a condo, $124,999. And look at this, one bedroom, one bath, 462 square feet. Let's see what this baby looks like. So we're talking extremely compact here. And let's go ahead and get some more particulars on this one. Go back to that privacy for a second. And let's see here. The HOA fee is $175 a month. Annual taxes are $296. Right now, they're only taking cash and conventional. So if you're an FHA buyer or VA buyer, this one's out of the picture for you. Well, that's the cheapest condo. Let's find the cheapest townhouse or single family. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Nope, that is, wait a minute. 030, that is here in the valley. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we get here. We're looking at, oh, this one is big. 1,402 square feet, four bedroom, two bath, built in 1971. Okay, drum roll. Okay, we have found the least expensive townhome, which is $178,800. Now the elusive single family home. Oh, that is here. That's on the historic west side, $230,000, 884 square feet, three bedroom, one bath, built in 1960. Let's see what we get. Okay. Now, of course, we're going to try to figure out what that median looks like. So I have to go pretty far in here. Oops. So we're going to be looking at about 450. It's probably going to be about 460 at the end of this month. So that's going to be a real culture shock for folks. But right now, just look at 450 single family. Oh my goodness. 3262 in the square footage. 7 bedroom, 3 bath, no garage, 1963. Let's see what we get. Okay. That's what you can get for about the median price. And going on to about the average price. Let's see what we're getting this week. Okay. One story, 1896, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 3 car garage, built in 1989. Let's see what we're getting. Okay. There we go. Let's go on back here and just look at the rest of the numbers. I'm actually hoping this is going out. I'm looking over here at my CPU performance, and it's like using up 100% CPU, which is really unusual. I should have done a restart before I did this. Well, anyway, back on the market, 225. So these are the houses that usually it's going to have something to do with the buyer. Two things. One, that appraisal didn't come back the way they thought it would, and yet they sat there and said they would pay above. And that is becoming a very common thing now because people say, okay, I'll pay 20,000 over a low appraisal, and they're just praying and hoping that it's going to come in. And then when it doesn't, they just back out. Uh, the other one is, of course, when the buyer cannot secure a loan. That's the majority of them. Okay, price decreases 228. So people got a little realistic about price. Increases 132. Never can tell why that happens. Uh, and sometimes the price increase, it could be a decrease increase. Uh, there's a technique that you can use, especially as a seller. Just change the price by $1 because it then pops it back up in all of those sites like Zillow and everything. So you just pop it up for $1 and then bring it back down again, or $100, or just something insignificant just so it pops back up. Under contract, 314 and 891 and 885 sold. Again, almost 198 more than came on the market, which is really tightening the market more. Expired 36 over the last week. That is just low. As you can see, the majority of them were actually taken off the market before. They just hit the expired portion now. A very few of them actually hit the market. They just went straight from the market to expired. Do a little privacy. I'm going to just look at one or two of them, figure out what's going on. So, like this one here was 680, 2,331 square feet. It was on market the whole 663 days. So it's, oh, and it has no showing. So somehow uh, it just was not shown during the time. So instead of just taking it off, they left it in no show status. Strange. Okay, let's go to the broader market and just look at everything that's available out there. So let's go ahead, hit that search for residential. We'll be looking at the actives. Matter of fact, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so we are going to hit that map, keep us in the Las Vegas area. Let's start with our condos. So right now we have 230 condos available. Just double checking here, it should be. The least expensive condo right now uh, is over east by the strip, 480 square feet, one bedroom, one bath, built in 1963. It's been on the market for 170 days, which is a long time, which tells me already that there are tenants in there. That's what it's supposed to look like. Let's go a little privacy, look in there and see if my suspicions are correct. And there are tenants and it's a no show. That's why it's been on there for 170 days. Now, I will bring up with this. I just went into contract on a place actually close to here, just south of it, and it had tenants in it. And I have a lot of times where people do not want to put in an offer on a place with tenants because you can't see them first, or at least for some of them. And they did it. We actually did the inspection today, and these tenants really took care of the place. The buyer was super pleased. I mean, super pleased. And no, they had been trying over and over again, and no, everything had offers on them, offer after offer. He finally went with the trying this out, and it's working out for him in droves. So that is an option. When it says make an offer contingent upon the viewing, you're not out anything. You don't have to be from Missouri where that somebody has to show you. Okay, so just go ahead and uh, put that offer in. You actually have a better chance. And I got my first couple of questions. Okay, Rochelle, you're asked the difference between average and median price. Okay, so to explain this one, let's say you had 100 of anything, widgets, houses, people. If you were to split that in half and go, let's say at number 50, 50 is the median. For some, they consider that a more accurate measure than the average because certain things can throw off the average. The average is when you take those 100 whatever, add them together and divide by 100, that's the average. Now, some of the most expensive property in the world is actually here in Las Vegas. You got 50 million. I mean, I will pull it, I can pull it up. I mean, you got 30, 40, $50 million mansions. That one mansion can just pull everything, even with all of those other houses, skew it. So when you have a median I'm sorry, an average that is higher than your median, that is known as a right skew. So yeah, see, I remember all that stuff from college. Uh, well, she's got that question. I am going to go in and let's do real quick because our next one was going to be housing. We'll do housing next. So let's just do that, and then we'll see what the most expensive house is. Matter of fact, if I stayed on condo, I could have probably found some. You know what? I'm going to stay on condo for just 1 second here. Let's find out what the most expensive condo is. You'll see how big it can skew things. Those condos are, in the two something range. Look at this. $13,500,000 is the most expensive condo. So if there are 200 and something of them, can you imagine? See, 230. Look what that just did. It just pulled everything to the right, along with this 2 million condo and this other 2 million, this 1.2. These things just really just pull things, and that's why they consider the median a little bit more accurate than the average because of that skew. Because half the people would have purchased a condo or a house or whatever below that, and half would have purchased above. Now we go back and we'll just look at, like I said, houses. So single family, 1885 this week. Actually, that's up from the last time we talked. Go in here. Highest price house is 32,500,000, with the next one being 25,000,000, 21, 16.9, 15 point. Look at all these multi-million dollar houses. All this is doing is skewing that to the right. Of course, let's see what this. That's the same one we've talked about before. It may actually take a few years to sell this, but it's beautiful. Hope that answers your question, Rochelle. Let's see. Let's go to the next question. They're going to ask, and I'm just going to do this from a layman standpoint of being a realtor, even though I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night. They're usually going to ask for 2 years of tax returns, proof of employment, and those are the main ones. I can get you a better list and maybe even do another video just talking about what the lender is going to ask for your loan approval. Hope that answers your question. They're mainly trying to make sure that you're going to be good for the loan. Remember, this isn't 2006 where you have all these ninja loans. Right now, they are really going to look into your documentation, make sure everything is right. And then, of course, you have those underwriters who are just going to come in there and go nuts on everything. Hope that answers your question. If not, I'll look again and try to do some more. We looked at this one last week. 196 is the lowest single family, and at least you get a pool. And going to look just what's on the market, see what the median is. Okay, it's 450. So let's back it up a little bit. You're welcome, Rochelle. So let's just look at a nice medium priced home here. Two-story, 2282, four-bedroom, three-bath, two-car garage. Okay, I'm gonna have to color myself impressed here. This is exceedingly nice. This almost doesn't make sense. It's so nice for that price. I have a sneaking suspicion this house was priced this way for a specific reason, and that reason was to get multiple offers. It's counterintuitive, and I talk about this all the time. When people price things correctly or less, what happens is everyone just piles in believing they're gonna get some kind of a bargain. Well, here's the problem, bargain's not there. If you think you found a house that's, well below, the average, and you rush in and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get this house at this great bargain." I was like, "No, it's not gonna happen." What's gonna happen is you're gonna put in an offer, the next person's gonna put in an offer, and then you're all gonna start competing against each other like, remember the good old days of eBay? And then you actually spend well above what it's worth, and that's why it's so interesting about that. And then you'll have these homeowners who, when they put their house up for sale, they sit there and they go, "Well, I'm not gonna lose a single penny, and, I'm gonna price it like this," and it's just proven science. You're actually taking advantage of people's greed when you do that. I think I've told that story about when I accidentally put the wrong number in because I was in a hurry, and by the time I got out the gate, my subdivision, I'd had like 5 calls. And I've seen it before. People will call me up, talk, thinking they found a bargain. I can just sit there and go like, "You haven't found a bargain." You call the agent, it's like, "Oh my goodness, what have I done?" Then they go and change it. or it was meant to be that way just to drive massive traffic, and it will. If it's on the MLS, if it's on a website or anything else, everybody else knows about it too. Okay. And let's see if we can just get to that average. My CPO is showing like 100%. I don't know what's going on. I think I need to completely like redo my computer because it's just been acting strange lately. Hopefully, I don't have anything. Okay, we got a that's interesting. 526 single story, 1892, four bedroom, three bath, two-car garage. Well, it's been flipped. Got a pool. We'll see what happens on that one. It's only oh my, it's been on the market for 51 days. That's not a good thing. So, hold on, I'm going to privacy here. Let's figure out what's going on with this particular house. Hmm. Well, this is a known flipper, so they overpriced it. That's all. It's pure and simple. Price is always a driver. If people haven't purchased this house in 56 days, or no, I'm sorry, 51. I don't want to mischaracterize anything. They've spoken. Let me see if there have been any price reductions here. No price reductions. Uh, so person's obstinate. They want their money. And they think the market's going to catch up with them. It normally does not. A lot of times, if you don't see a house with a tenant in it, and it's been on the market for more than 30 days, it's just plain overpriced, and it's never gonna. There's nothing any realtor can do. And you have these people, they're screaming at their realtor and everything, talking about everybody's like ripping them off somehow. Nobody's ripping you off. The market has spoken. Period. Dot. End of story. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of what we were going to talk about today: interest rates and how it's affecting the market. Because if you haven't noticed, interest rates have gone down. I find this one really cool because I can actually like kind of track it here. Now, if you look, we started this year at 3.22%. Where we're at right now, let's just call it what it is: 4.5% average around the country. That is almost a 1.2% increase in interest rates. That kind of increase, it just plain cost you. Let's just see what it cost you in a mortgage. Whoops. So so let's say we take that median price home, and we're just doing a 3% conventional, which means you're going to have PMI. And we started off, it was what, 3.22%. We'll just leave everything here the same. And oops, let's see what our payments were. So at the beginning of the year, your payments were 2357. Just because of that interest rate change. Remember that 2357. Boom. 2676. $320 out of your pocket since January on a median priced home. But there's more. Let's go back. We're going to do this in reverse now. Now, median price was when we started this month and the last month. Remember, prices went up $30,000. Take that. So 2676, 2219, $450 has gone out of somebody's pocket who did not buy at the beginning of this year. And we're in March. March. Can you imagine that extra 450 bucks, what you could have done with it? I mean, dang, that's a car payment. I can remember my very first car when I graduated from college was a Toyota Camry. I'm not going to say what year. Uh, my payments were $356 per month. My car that I purchased when I left Japan, uh, which the payments on it were pretty much 500 straight up at higher interest rates than we have now. So 450 bucks. That's yeah. So how does it affect the housing market right now? It's not as much because we're still at low interest rates, relatively speaking. I know some people got 2.25s and 2.75s. People are now salty. Well, here's the bad news. It's going to go up even more. And it's because of course, politicians. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle, they're always going to play the same game. So they're going to scream about inflation. We all know. I mean, I got myself lunch today from Taco Bell because I was doing an inspection on the house I was talking about earlier, just below the strip, or yeah, below and to the right of the strip, east of the strip. And I couldn't believe how much I had to pay at the Taco Bell. I filled my car yesterday. It was $100. So we're all hurting. Well, the way to slow down inflation is to raise interest rates to cool down the economy. And they're doing it. And when I get a little bit later in this, you'll see they're planning to do it even more than they originally said because inflation is so bad. The effect is pretty much it's going to cool it down a little bit, but it's not going to stop it. We're still going to probably have about 10%, 12% appreciation, from the beginning of the year, which if here in Las Vegas, if houses are already up 30%, little math tells me we're already up like, I'm sorry, 30,000. Let's see. Let me pull up a little calculator here. Let's see. If it's 450 now, and we started the year at 420, yeah, almost 7%. So we're in March and housing's up 7% already. So it doesn't take much to go to that 10 to 12. So even if there's a slowdown, which there's probably going to be a little bit because look how much people have been priced out. I mean, we're looking at March, January, you're paying 450 bucks more. That's prices a lot of people out. And that is the part. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to uh, sorry about that. I have to call him back a little bit later. Uh that's the part that's going to really be the crux of this are the people being priced out of the market. What's keeping things going is remember 41%, especially here in Las Vegas, um, of our market is people who are paying cash, mainly the corporations, folks selling those houses in California. I was looking at something with a dude yesterday. He was like on a little podcast thing. He lives here in Vegas. He bought a house like 20 years ago. I forgot what he said he paid for it, but he sold it for like 1.6 million in San Diego. So those people have money, and that's what keeps driving the market up, especially here, parts of Texas, and I hear Atlanta is starting to hurt. Let me go ahead. See what we got here. Yeah, townhomes are a little bit cheaper. One of the things you gotta look at for townhomes is, there's gonna be a higher amount for, your HOA. So look at that, and also they're rising just as fast as houses, and there's actually a lower supply. So, look to see what you wanna do, and but we can still get you into a townhome, and, whatever you need, it'll get done. Let's see, we got one here. Yep, VA. Jason, if you're still here, do they have you pay any points? Because usually for 2.25, the guys I saw who refinanced or anything on that had to pay at least one. Well, no, the guy no got 2.7, 2.25, paid 0.875 points. So I'd love to know if you paid any points on that. Let's see here. Uh, you can kind of let me see if I can do this and kind of hide some stuff or find one because we kind of did this last week where it was like a shock to me. Wow, 0 points. I'd love to know that lender, man. Love to know that lender because 0 points at 2.25, that's amazing. So let me do this little exercise like I did last week. Penny Mac and PenFed. Okay, keep those in mind. See what their interest rates are. So what I can do is I can actually go to sold and compare the difference between the list price and the sales price. We can do this exercise a little bit again this week. Let's see here. So I'm going to look at all the houses that sold over the last 7 days. Let's just limit this to single family houses. So 614 sold. And let's see, let's just go find one. I need to limit this, of course, to list of things here. Las Vegas. Don't want to be looking up someplace else. Okay. So let's just arrange this, then see what happens. So let's kind of get into that median area. Come on. So let's just look here. I'm going to go privacy. So this one was looking at Summersby Way. Let's just look at the pics first. Now 450 is what it sold for. So let's go a little privacy here. Go into Summersby, and this one was listed for 430 and it sold for 450. So it sold for 20,000 over. And the seller did contribute $1,000, which is interesting. So that answers that one. Let's see if we can find another one. See, last week when I did this, I had to go through a bunch of them to find something. It's like, what's going on? So this week, let's just look at this one that sold for. So on Cadence Way for 455. Let's see what we get here. Oh, see, this is where it happens again. This one was listed for 460, it sold for 455. Oh, this is interesting. Very interesting. It was originally 460. Originally. They lowered the price to 445, and after lowering the price, then it sold, and it sold for 455. So they realized their price was too high, adjusted, and it helped. Okay. And I didn't show you the pictures, so I want to make sure you saw those. Oh yeah. Sucker's running slow now. Hoping I'm not breaking up or anything. Okay, here we go. Let's see what she looked like. Oh, rooftop deck. Okay. So at least the seller figured it out quick to lower the price. Hope that answers your well, actually, that does not answer your question. As far as websites that everybody else could go to, I'm not sure if Zillow would show a history like that of what was listed. They'll kind of show what well, no, they show it off market. I cannot think of anything that everyone else can have access to try to find these things out. But if I come across something, I'll maybe make a video about it and put it out there. Oh, thanks, Jaime. Thanks, Jaime. Matter of fact, next time I talk to you, I got to talk to you about something. I've been going through some of your stuff, and yeah, I just wanted to hit you up on something. Anywho, let's see here. Next one. Oh, come on, you were working for me. Yeah, Wall Street Journal's talking about the new highs. Uh, yeah. So the house hunters, you got to go and look for those interest rates right now because it's not a pretty sight. They're going up, and it's really starting to price some folks out. And I don't know what's going to happen on that. I'm sure there are actually some people who may be applauding. And I made a video about it. It's going to come out this week, and it's called rental porn. It's a real thing. Like all these YouTube guys who are talking about the market's about to crash, the market's about to crash, and running around like Chicken Little saying the sky is falling. Well, somebody exposed them last week that just about all of them who are doing this are working with investors right now to buy up houses. So they're telling people not to buy houses while working with investors to buy up houses. Houses they're going to put people, in rentals for. And if I have enough time, I got some stuff talking about the rentals and everything. Cause like that dude says up in New York, the rent too damn high. Now this one, I don't want to put any sound on it. I don't know what the attribution is. I love to look at Leto's law, what he was talking about. This one just came out today, and it was just so man, how this market is. So in Atlanta, this lady bought a house, and the week before closing, the builder canceled her contract. The week before closing. Do you know why? Because they went and sold it for a lot more money to somebody else. This is going to start happening more and more because if I can't speak to other parts of the country, here in Las Vegas, it's taking about 8 months to build a house now. So if you bought a house 8 months ago and you paid 450 for it, let's just say, the house may be worth 425 or something. So that some of those builders are just sitting there going like, I could get 75,000 more. Now on this one, it was a smaller builder. We don't have like many of these small builders here in Las Vegas. Most of ours are like the big builders, so I doubt they would do that. But I did talk about one time how a friend of mine found a house for somebody, and it was previously under contract, and the person like got out of the contract when Well, when they put it on the open market, they put it on the open market for a heck of a lot more than that person, was gonna buy it for, which and that was a few months ago, which means that person lost a lot of equity. She put, I believe 1,500 down on this one. They did give her money, but she did some upgrades. So with upgrades, they usually make you pay, like 10% up front, so she had to pay 5 grand, and they never returned her money, even though, they've now promised to FedEx it to her. We'll have to see on that, but it's just this is one of the things to watch for because the standard contract that we use, what we call the RPA, Residential Purchase Agreement, the new builders will not use. They use their own forms written by their own lawyers that only benefit them. So that's just something to watch out for. Now I'll just finish up with good old Steve here. I think I showed Steve. Did I? Hold on. I think I showed that. Hopefully I did. But yeah, look at Leto's Law. He's got some good stuff out there. I really love looking at his channel. And we're going to just finish this off real quick here. And they're basically talking about, because we're surrounded by, or this dude's talking about because we're surrounded by a bunch of government land. So it kind of artificially inflates the price of land because uh, you really can't build too much. Pretty much all the land is around us is owned by Native American tribes, the Paiute, and the federal government. So you really can't build out anymore. The only out that you can build is stuff controlled by the Howard Hughes Corporation, and they release parcels here and there. So the price of housing has got, I mean, of land itself has gotten so high. It's like right now, it's $514,000 per acre, which is funny. When I moved here, they said land was virtually worthless. And that's why I have so much equity because I bought at a more advantageous time. So this is causing people to, or the home builders to actually move away from Las Vegas to the rural areas like Pahrump and Mesquite, where they can buy houses or land for a lot cheaper. And this is, I mean, it's an hour drive to either one. So if you're really been priced out, you should look there. But the prices there are actually starting to rise because people who never would have thought of moving to Pahrump are moving to Pahrump because they can't afford any place in Las Vegas and they'll just take that hour drive. So I don't know how much longer the cheap prices in Pahrump will last. So they do have some new bills out there that are really reasonable compared to Las Vegas. So it's an area you may want to look at. Um, even if I can't make it, I know some great agents in Pahrump. One in particular, Lisa, she is like dominating that area. I'll put you in contact with her, get you hooked up over there. If you're looking for something less expensive and you don't mind driving an hour. Like I was talking about earlier, the feds are going to keep hiking rates until they get this inflation under control. So you could easily see 5% in those interest rates, which is going to drive it up even more. So it was another $150 a month just to try to tamp down inflation. And that's going to come out of your pocket. And well, like I just said, I filled my vehicle. It cost me $100. I've never paid $100 in my life. And it didn't feel good. Didn't feel good. Here's another problem here in Vegas and nationwide. Look at that. Rents have gone up 33% from 2020. I've already been contacted just, I think it was, no, Friday, by somebody who wants to buy a house because their rent's going up another 300 a month. And it had already gone up during the pandemic. And they're now paying like, I think it was like $500 a month since the pandemic started. And it's like, why are they paying this money to somebody else and they can get a house? Now, the only drawback that I may see is, yeah, they're paying more. These interest rates is like really torn some stuff up there because if you got to pay 400 or 500 bucks a month more anyway on interest rates, it's the same as the rent. The only difference is you're now contributing to your own net worth instead of your landlord's net worth. There's a reason why, all of these people are buying in cash. You got all these iBuyers. And like I said, the rental porn where folks are sitting there trying to convince you not to buy a house because the market's about to crash. Well, they have a vested interest in saying that because they're buying houses for somebody else and they don't want you buying a house. And of course, check what I'm saying because I could be trying to get you to buy a house for a commission or something. Uh, so could any other real estate agent. Just check your sources. Check whatever source anybody gives you. Yep. I think we're not number 4 and got some other things here, but we're actually, according to the article, we're number 4 in the nation for the rise in rents. So yeah, I mean you could be in Cleveland. I wouldn't want to be there, but yeah, you'd save some money by being there. And this one is about North Las Vegas. It seems North Las Vegas at a um, little thing for the candidates for mayor. They're starting to float things like rent control. That's the worst thing you can do. Because look at New York City with their rent control and what happened. It's the worst or the best example because, first of all, no investor is going to want to put a renter in anything. There are people who can't buy houses for various reasons. And now you're going to say, okay, we're going to do rent control. So when I do get a chance to put a new person in there, I'm going to charge a heck of a lot more. It's kind of like the person said I was talking about earlier about wanting to buy a house because their rent's gone up, keeps going up. She's, I mean, they were like, "Hey, it's like we paid our rent the entire time during the pandemic. And it's like they're trying to punish us for what's happening here because all those people who didn't pay. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what rent controls do. And that's why if you go try to find a apartment in some place like New York City, it's so dang expensive, 3,500, 4,000 bucks for a little one bedroom in the worst neighborhood possible. So, I mean, they may be talking out of both sides of their mouths here, but this is really the worst. One of the worst things I can think about is actually trying to do this. So, anyway, that kind of ends the news and everything else for today. Want to stick around a second, see if anybody has any questions. And I hope it wasn't jittery. Like I said, I'm looking at my performance monitor over here, and my CPO is way up there and almost spiking at 100% for no reason. It's like something's running in the background doing this. Who knows? Maybe it's the Russians. I have Kaspersky. I haven't changed out yet to something else. They say get rid of Kaspersky because it's based in Russia. You know how that is. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to give it one more minute because I know there's a slight delay. Okay. While this minute is going up here, just to say to anyone who's watching the replay, um, if you feel that I've brought you any value, if you can do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, you can, of course, subscribe if you believe I bring you value and look at some of my other videos because I really try to bring as much as I can to everyone. And I'm going to go ahead, since I don't have any more questions, I'm going to end this for this week. Have a good week. And if anybody has any questions, try to leave some comments and I'll try to research it and have it for next week, including the one Rochelle had there about any way that somebody who's not a real estate agent can see what the difference that someone paid compared to the list price. I'll see if that exists. Okay. So enjoy your week and I'm going off to get some dinner and watch The Walking Dead. Bye, y'all.